Okay, so we're gonna do a little video today. I'm gonna call the updates and intros. So I'm gonna go over some of the trees that have changed a little bit, and some that may not have changed, and some that may have died. So get ready. Here comes a bunch of updates and intros. All right, so this is one of my Eastern Redbuds. I did a slip pot on this one back in March, and has definitely grown a lot since then. It's put out a few new branches, and I'm pretty dang happy with how it's growing. I'll put a few comparison shots here to show its growth. So yeah, pretty happy with how this one's going. So this one hasn't been growing quite as successfully since the last time I had it on camera. It seems to have some type of white mold or fungus on it, which is causing some stunted growth, and I'm debating whether I should defoliate this one and do some heavy pruning on it and get rid of any infected branches. So I may have to have this one under the lights here sooner rather than later. So yeah, I don't know about this one. Here's another one of my Eastern Redbuds. This one had a repot a few months ago with some fresh bonsai soil and is doing very well. I've noticed that it's a little top heavy and was tipping over a little bit when we had some high wind, so I added these stones to balance it out a bit. We have some new branching here and a decent amount of foliage. So yeah, this one's making some nice progress. So here's a mulberry tree I found growing in my backyard, and I plopped it in some bonsai soil not too long ago. We have some new growth coming in on the bottom of the trunk, so hopefully that will give us some more branch options in the future. Not much to say on this one, so I guess no news is good news, but it's definitely growing well. Slow and steady on this one. Another one to chalk up as not doing so hot is my Kentucky coffee tree. I'm not sure if this is a case where I'm not fertilizing enough, or maybe it had some heavy shock from the repot and the new soil. I don't know. Either way, I'll continue to water it, fertilize it, and see what happens for the rest of the summer. Okay, so here's my Dawn Redwood. This one is growing well, no complaints here. We got some nice bright green foliage and it's looking super healthy. I did have to prop this one up with some cones here since the trunk is a bit weak, but besides that, it's growing pretty great. I also stopped by the mother tree of this Dawn Redwood recently and noticed that it was starting to push out some of its little cones. This one here happened to fall on the ground prematurely, so I thought I'd bring it home and show it here. Some pretty cool looking cones. So yeah, Dawn Redwood's doing pretty great. Another tree that is in the slow and steady category, this Copper Beech, I think it could be doing a little bit better than it is, but I can't complain too much since it's doing much better than some of my other trees. I really like the dark color of these leaves here. They're really awesome. We have a couple buds at the bottom here that I hope will bloom soon, but I guess time will tell on this one. This is the sibling tree to the last Copper Beech and is not doing quite as good as its sibling. But hopefully it will progress a bit more as the summer comes on us, fingers crossed. Now we have this Forsythia tree that I repotted a few months ago. Super happy with how this one's growing. Lots of bright green foliage going on here. I probably should have done a little update on this a few weeks ago because it had a few little yellow flowers that the Forsythia trees are known for. But yeah, this one's doing great. All right, so here's one of my trees that I don't believe I've shown here before. This is one of my avocado trees. I started growing avocado trees during COVID and have been growing them ever since. This one is probably about a year old and is one of the few times that I've actually ever wired a tree. I put some wire on this one over the winter and it definitely gave it some interest. So yeah, pretty happy with this one. Another avocado tree that I don't believe I've shown before. We have some very healthy leaves shooting out on this. I usually trim my avocado trees after they get to be about 6 inches tall, because if you don't, they tend to get very long and leggy. Here you can even see some of the cut points along the trunk. Avocado trees are super picky trees. The soil can't be too wet, can't be too dry, and I've had a lot of avocado trees die of root rot. So finding the right balance is crucial. So, so far so good on this one. So this avocado tree is super interesting. This is my mutant avocado tree. So I don't think I would do it much justice explaining why this happens, but basically from my understanding, it has to do with the time when the avocado was initially picked. I believe it has something to do with when the avocado is picked too early and something to do with not having all of its DNA information. Not 100% sure, but either way, it develops these interesting little leaves that are small and chunky. And actually, if you notice up at the top here, there's a common green leaf that's popping out here. So this is something that maybe it will eventually grow out of. Either way, makes for a super interesting tree. All right, and here is another successful tree. This jade is just getting better and better. It seems like every time I look at this one, it's getting bigger and putting out new leaves. Again, not much to say here, but just super happy with how this is coming together. One of my favorite trees for sure. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed these updates and thanks for checking them out.